Welcome to Edessa Season 2. Whoever's seen it is, I'm doing the intro. Because tonight's scene finds us in Johanna's haven. Johanna has already been out and been busy. She tends to wake fairly early. And she's been to speak to Madeline. She's been to hunt. And she leaves a note in case Irene wakes up before she returns. Irene was left in a very comfortably appointed chamber with a lot of locks on the door and a guard outside um, to enjoy her sleep. And when she wakes, there's a note from Johanna saying that she has only to ask and bathwater will be brought if she likes, or actually, no, I guess we don't bathe because we're Europeans and we're gross in the Middle Ages. So, none of that. There will be I don't know, whatever. All the modern comforts for a given value of modern are available to her. Um, and a note to please attend Johanna in her study at your convenience. The locks are on the inside of the door so that Irene can lock herself in, not on the outside of the door.
You say
Here to
that.
keep other people out, not to keep Irene in.
There's been many times when it was kind of the reverse, I feel. But
Not in Johanna's house, so you're
yay.
fine.
Yeah, Irene gets up. I'd say not reasonably late. With her road score and everything, I think she's
Mhm.
okay. Um, and yeah, she'll do the dressing and she'll do the hair and she'll just take her time as she does most nights. She's feeling a bit peckish, like of course every morning when you wake up. In her case, night. Um, but like being in the place that she is just gonna rely on her strength of will. That's not too great at the moment, though. Um, and is gonna try and not be hungry, bite her lip, and yeah, notices the note and will make her way to Johanna's study.
Mhm. The air is thick with incense, and at various times, depending on when she wakes, she can hear monks singing the hours um, above the noise of people dying as quietly as possible.
Oh, I think it's quiet. I'm sorry.
I said as
No.
quietly as possible.
An attempt is made.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah. Once there'll be someone available to lead her to this study. And she's familiar with the room. It's the one with the looms.
Mhm.
And the person who leads her there disappears again afterwards to go find Johanna, and she's fetched. And when she arrives, she's carrying a bottle that probably looks fairly familiar because Irene had one the night before. And she offers it without much fanfare and with a gentle smile.
I mean, I'm gonna at least attempt to not like look hungry. I have one, two, three, four successes for that, for not looking like, oh my god, there's blood there. Oh my god.
Johanna's not,
But
not gonna bother because like she doesn't bother to look because she knows you're hungry. You just woke up,
yeah,
and unless you've been snacking on the servants in the back rooms,
no,
which
no.
would not be very polite, she knows.
And
So she
yeah,
leaves you to
she'll,
enjoy your breakfast and makes
yeah.
herself comfortable to loom for a while.
I mean, we'll pretend that she doesn't have the urge to gulp all that blood down, but she'll just quietly sit there for a while and nip on the blood until it's all gone. And Irene is no longer hungry, which is good. And then she'll walk over to Johanna. Thank you for allowing me to stay here this day.
Of course, it's my pleasure, and I promised the girl to you.
Yes. Thank you.
Of
I
course.
seem to have missed things last night. Is there anything of interest that you found out?
Mm,
By the
quite a
way,
bit.
this young girl is kind of attached at the hip to Johanna.
Oh,
Oh, is
she's
she?
in the
Would
room?
she have?
Then she's
Yeah.
not gonna say it like that.
Because Johanna would have given her. Well, I don't think she's not going to feed her. I feel like that's kind of a separate conversation. Chris, let's do that after Johanna and Irene talk. Johanna would have made her comfortable with singers or books or whatever she wanted to entertain herself, and made it clear that Johanna needs to tend to her own business before she can be socially available to this nice lady.
But please.
Kiss her on the forehead and leave her with something to read and someone to sing to her. And
She doesn't like the songs and she doesn't know how to read.
does she know how to sew?
Kinda. But that's work.
Oh, it hurts, Johanna. It hurts her.
She really, really, really wants to be with you.
I simply cannot. There are things I must do. It's very important.
She rocks back and forth on the bedside and stomps her feet and looks very upset. And is very teary-eyed.
I think I shall have a dress made for you.
She's very dirty.
Do you have time for the tailor?
Do you have time for the tailor?
I will shortly.
Her face looks very scrambled and torn.
I'll return. And Johanna sends someone to bring her things for her own ablutions, oil for her hair and water for her face and water for whatever else they can get off of her. And
Probably just send her a bathtub and pour her a bath.
yes.
Okay.
And then goes to feed Irene. Because this conversation must be had before she can decide what to do with the poor young lady she has entranced.
Irene is being given formula blood.
It does feel like that, doesn't it? She goes to feed
It really
Irene,
is the worst.
groom her, pet her, ride her.
Oh no!
Like a pretty horse she is. God damn it.
God, if Aura got here, he'd slap you with Potence 5 so hard right now.
Slap me or Irene?
Both of you. You're
Both.
enabling her.
Gotta get that willpower back, bitches.
She's keeping the fledgling safe until she can return her to Ulrich so Ulrich doesn't fuss.
The sidest of eyes.
In all means, or Ulrich will fuzz if he finds out that Irene has spent the night at Johanna's.
To burn down your house again.
No, not again.
So,
So,
back to the previous conversation.
Babby has blood. What should you do next?
Well, I mean, she was asking Johanna because she's missing part of the night of yesterday, like part of the ride back, most of the ride back. Actually, how did she get into the carriage? She doesn't know. So yeah, she's looking at Johanna and is like, "Is there anything that I missed last night? How did you get the girl inside the carriage? What's her
you'll be
name
angry
even?"
when I tell you. I don't. Would she have? I mean, Johanna would have asked her name. Johanna's not terrible, just the player is. Did she give a name?
I feel like I really should make Johanna terrible and make her good.
I mean, that's fine. She can be terrible.
I'll be pleasant. Shall I be pleasant? It's Saskia's birthday. I'll be pleasant. One sec.
Also, I'd like to say that this is the difference between the different roads. Irene is on Road of Humanity, so immediately asks for like, okay, so what is this girl like? What's her name? Is she nice?
Amelie. Yeah, but Amelie.
Oh, that's pretty. Okay.
That's French.
Well, you'll be angry with me when I tell you. I hope you'll forgive me as quickly as possible. But she was prepared to stake you, and I thought Ulrich would be extremely unhappy with me if I allowed that to happen.
Irene blinks a few times and slowly nods like she doesn't see why she's angry at this. It's like, yeah, I think Ulrich would be extremely unhappy with the both of us.
So I called her to me and ensured her loyalty.
Why did she try to stake me, though? I hadn't done anything. I wouldn't have done anything.
She knows what you are.
Oh.
She has killed others of our kind before. She's a murderer,
What?
Irene.
There's the unbelievable couple of blinks. Like, what? And she seems to, like... Don't be mean. God damn it. I completely lost track of this.
She's a murderer.
Yeah, Irene looks like she can very hardly believe that.
Just like I'm gonna close the door. It's raining loudly.
Oh dear. So yeah, she sits there for a moment in silence because the other player's gone. And just kind of...
Wouldn't being a murderer be like a virtue for Johanna?
I'm sorry. What I missed?
Nothing that you want to know.
No.
Oh dear.
No.
Everything is
It's just
fine.
Chris being like salt.
Okay.
Sass.
So Johanna sits back and folds her hands carefully and watches Irene's expression.
Yeah, she looks incredulous actually. Like she didn't expect someone so yeah, kind of innocent looking, really. She didn't expect her to be a murderer. But why?
Why has she killed canines?
Yes.
It sounds as though she stumbled upon the work of some careless fools. She found bodies.
Oh.
She thinks we are evil.
Irene recognizes that this person is correct and justified in their action.
I mean,
Johanna's face doesn't say otherwise. Being a murderer, worse would be than a murderer.
No.
I was just saying while you were gone, isn't being a murderer like a good thing for Johanna?
Oh no, it's a bad thing for Irene.
I mean, she's killing canines, she's killing monsters, so it's not bad.
But we're not monsters. We're nice. I mean,
if you're high humanity, like you probably wouldn't care if she killed Johanna, like you still. Now if she went to kill Ulrich, on the other hand, that would be a bad. Ulrich is a guy. But Johanna, none of those really.
Aww.
For the
No,
boys.
like no loss.
No loss.
Anyone who dies is a loss. That's no. Yeah.
Aw, that's sweet of you to think that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very sweet.
You're in your
Very
room,
nice.
girl. There's only one fledgling here now.
Hi. She's nice.
Mm-hmm.
No murder.
No murder.
No murder.
But I save worlds from evil vampires.
Okay. So she tried to stake me because she thinks that I killed people.
Yes.
There's a tiny piece of Irene's heart breaking off. Like, I see. It does explain why people are interested in her, I guess.
I don't think the Ravnos seemed interested in vengeance.
Maybe not them.
It is an interesting question, though. What will they do with her? With a fledgling who is obviously powerful, very powerful, and has obviously learned some very unfortunate lessons.
I I do not know. And I would really like to talk to her myself as well, but Johanna, before I came here yesterday, I got a message, and there's someone who wants to see her.
Johanna's going to nips up, like, oh, someone wants to see her. What a surprise!
Gonna fucking be any of that.
Two successes.
Alright.
You might beat that.
I am beating that. 3
You are beating
successes.
that. Johanna, you see her try not to look surprised, or try to look a little surprised, but she doesn't look very surprised. She looks resigned. I think is probably the best word is resigned.
Irene looks a little confused at that and is like, wait, you knew of that?
Who is it that wants to see her? She has killed 3 Canaanites. I do not know who knows.
It's a member of court.
Who knew you were looking? A member of court who knew you were looking for her.
No one knew. But he found out one way or another. Look,
I see.
would you allow, I mean, girl, what I saw yesterday after like coming back around of whatever what was happening. The girl's obviously very fond of you. It would help if you would agree to this. But would you allow it if I would take her to this person first?
The girl is yours to do with as you please.
Just a
I've told you the
prize
boon is
blink.
yours to collect.
You know what I said before. I don't want. For some reason, I don't want to. I don't want her to come to any harm. I still don't want to have her come to any harm.
Do you think that whoever this is who asks for her will bring her to harm.
If she's truly murdered others of our city, then I'm afraid so. But it's not something that I can stop.
Mm.
Can you keep this? I'm not quite sure whether he wants to keep this a secret or not. So could you keep it a secret?
Of course. I can
It's,
keep secrets from anyone but the La Sombra.
then I guess it wouldn't be too much of an issue, as it is the Primogen of the La Sombra who wants to see the girl first before anyone else.
That is convenient then.
Oh?
I warn you, you will break her.
Like I said, it's not something that I can. How can I say no to the seneschal? Like, and
It is a
she'll just
difficult.
give. Yeah, she's literally just giving Johanna that look at like, can you? Like, you know.
She studies Irene.
There's no sass there, by the way. It's more like a sad, like you can't, I can't. We can't really tell him no.
She turns back to the loom. Um, picks up the shuttle and starts to weave very slowly, very carefully, because she's still at 3 dots of pain in her
Oh.
hands. So she very gingerly begins to weave. You could, of course, set the ravenous Primogen against him, send word that you have the girl, and then send word again that it will be a moment before she can appear, as she is needed elsewhere.
You want me to set the Ravenous Primogen up against my own Primogen?
I'm not recommending it, I'm
No.
listing options.
Mm.
There are many options, and I think that it's important that you know what games are being played and what games are not being played. Do you understand?
Of course.
So, I will name some options, and
By all
I'd be
means.
interested to hear which trouble your heart.
Sorry?
I'll be interested to hear which ones trouble your heart. I've
I'm
told
not.
you it is my curiosity that took me to find the girl.
Hmm.
As much about you as about her.
I understand.
You cannot, by yourself, control her. I think she will go nowhere with you. If you wish to let her go, I have only to deliver the two of you into a carriage. I may lose a retainer, the carriageman. I could give word that you are not allowed to be staked, and that whoever was in there should protect you as necessary. I do not know how many times in a night she can ensorcel someone, but I am willing to play the odds, if you so desire it.
If, if anything, I would prefer to have this go as amiable as possible. Would you accompany me with her to the seneschal?
Of course.
Thank you.
The next question is, do we arm her before she goes? Do you love your primogen? Do not answer. It is better that I do not know the answer.
I will give you this answer, though. Primogen is Ulrich's grandsire. And therefore, in a way, my great-grandsire.
Do you feel that bind you?
Would it not?
Duty is what we make of it. I don't know what duties the La Sombra lay claim to.
We call ourselves the kings, right?
Yes.
So, when it comes to our duties, I think that is a good comparison.
Mm. A king has a duty to the throne.
True king has a duty to its people.
Yes.
I am not sure what reasons the seneschal has to look into this girl. But if what you say is true, and she has killed, then I didn't want her to come to have any. I didn't want her to come to any harm, but I understand there is a certain amount of justice that needs to happen. And I'm sad. Wish I didn't have to play part in that. If
I'll
this
take her
means
without you if you prefer.
no, no, I'll come along. If this means that the girl cannot go to the Ravnos anymore, then that is a responsibility that I'll carry. I'm not sure how yet. Maybe she can still. I am sure the seneschal would not wish to deteriorate relationships with any of the other clans.
These are certainly fragile nights for that.
Yes. Hmm. Can I meet her?
Yes, you may. She wants to kill you.
Yeah.
She will likely want to kill me as well when she finds out that I'm also a vampire. I'm torn. I would very much like to tell her. Very much like to tell her that she need not be a monster if she chooses not to. But I think it will not matter once she meets the Seneschal.
That still means... That doesn't mean we can't try. We can still try. Perhaps if she realizes she has a choice, she can repent.
I do not think she will repent.
But
Perhaps
we
the
can
Seneschal
try.
can make her.
I'm quite sure he can, but it would be preferable if she comes to this insight on her own.
Do you think you have the skill to convince her?
No. But I would hate to simply send her off without even trying.
She's lost something terrible that I don't understand. Some dream, some waking dream.
What?
I do not know.
Irene looks pretty interested at that point, like, what?
She grieves. She says the city was more colorful before. We have done something to the colors.
I see.
And I know of no clan who can do what she can do. Nor where her sire is. She does not know who her sire was. Her wings are broken. What the devil do you think the Ravenous wants with her?
I'm not sure. But maybe they can bring back some color to her life.
If anyone can, it's them.
Maybe they can make her realize that we are not all bad. I do not know. But whatever they wish to do, Seneschal will have to agree that she goes there.
Then I will call her. And we will go.
Thank you.
Will you be all right? What can I do to help you?
I'll be fine. But thanks for the
Well then.
reminder. And Irene will pose herself and get a little bit more try to be a little bit more La Sombra as she should.
She knows you sing. And Johanna is going to go and go find the girl. leave Irene in the study. She knocks quietly on the door to the room where she's left her, presumably with a mortal tailor fussing. Amelie.
Ollie's kind of in the midst of having her bath and scrubbing all the dirt and grime which has accumulated on her body for the longest time. Some things that you just notice less as a canine.
It's fair. Johanna comes into the room and stops and retreats back toward the door. I apologize, did not mean to interrupt.
Hello. Did you need something?
It can wait. Please, finish your ablutions. Have you everything you need?
Do I need anything?
No. You're going to meet someone very powerful tonight.
She looks a bit worried.
Are you alright?
It's not one of them, is it?
We shall see.
What does that mean?
Do you know how to tell?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
They have the same tics. It's weird. You kind of imitate them. It's strange.
There are many ways to be what you are.
Are you okay? You sound a little upset. She kind of ends up getting out of the bath.
I'm not upset. I'm thoughtful. I have a great deal to think about.
Are you sure?
You are a surprise to me. I did not know that you were of the blood.
I didn't want to be.
I understand. And now you are. What will you do with it? Will you deny it all of your nights? Until it catches up with you?
No, I have to add them. I'm sorry. She says, I don't have a choice. I have to. I have to.
You could walk into the sun.
That would save me, but not anyone else.
Is that what you're after? Is to save everyone?
She kind of nods.
Did you know that we can drink from mortals without killing them?
Pardon?
Did you know we can drink without killing the mortals?
Doesn't matter. A murderer is a murderer.
If there's no death, what murder is there? Have you
But
killed every time you've fed?
Why are you defending them? They do kill.
So do men.
They ghoul people, enslave them, and manipulate them and turn men against each other.
All of these they learned before they lost the daytime. These are all things that men do as well.
And yet they're so much better at,
Yes.
and try so much harder at.
I don't know about that. I think that may in fact be the problem, is that for some of them, for many of them, they needn't even try.
She looks a bit miffed at you constantly defending them and doesn't really seem to understand why you are.
She's going to,
If you want to forgive them, you can, but that doesn't mean you must let them continue.
hmm.
You know so much, you could help me.
And yet you continue. How can you speak with such a serpent's tongue? With one side, you say you will end all of them. The other side, you say, but not myself. I am the avenger, and still I drink.
When I am done, I will walk into the sun, but until then I cannot.
There's no end.
There must be an end. They are not infinite.
They're far more powerful than you.
But not more than humanity. I'm just gonna give them a nudge. And then people can decide their own fate without monsters and shadows pulling their strings.
Those are the
Even
dreams
if
of a
it's
child.
wrong and evil, at least it will have been earned.
Have you never been in love?
I've been in love ever since I went to sleep that one time.
With who?
Not with a person.
A god?
It wouldn't be fair to call them that. Although I think a lot of them do think that. I think that's wrong as well. Then they become like vampires, and but they will end as well. They're scared because they know they'll end. Maybe that's why they're so desperate to look like gods. She seems to ponder this very absent-mindedly.
Fear inspires a great deal of cruelty. As does love. There are two people that I want you to meet. One is beautiful, and one is very beautiful. You will like one. I think you'll dislike the other. They have a great deal to teach you.
I don't need to be taught.
You think so?
No, you could teach me though. Kind of clings to you in like her towel wrapped around her.
Johanna hesitates, and then she reaches up to gently, very, very gingerly, stroke the girl's hair, and then points to a stool and says, "Sit. I'll braid your hair for you."
Oh, she looks so happy and ecstatic. And she literally hops on over and plops herself down on the stool and just sits there like giddy with excitement and joy.
Johanna begins to weave a very different kind of thread. Again, slowly and painfully. Not terribly slowly because she's a vampire and she does the fuck she wants, but it's a painful process. Excruciating, even.
Ow.
Not painful for the girl. She's very gentle. It's probably been some time since she's had her hair braided.
Yeah, it's messy.
And Johanna has a small pair of shears to deal with the knots.
And it's wet.
But she's used to dealing with wet hair. She's a noble woman and has standards. I can teach you, but I cannot protect you.
Oh, it's okay. I can do that. I can do that for both of us.
No.
Why not?
If you're not very careful, that's one of the lessons you may have to learn very quickly.
I am careful though.
You do not know how to be careful.
Oh,
I've seen how you're careful. It's very clever.
I'm very careful.
What'd you say?
I'm very careful. She says poutingly.
Sounds like pounds.
And she almost looks like 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 as like almost as if to emphasize her discontent with you contesting how careful she is. She does that sort of slow blink as her head and gaze slowly shift away from you, as if it's like a sassy noblewoman. Just it's very childish in its execution.
Will not last long if you think you have nothing to learn.
I don't think I'd need to learn what they want to teach me anyway. I have other things to learn
Like what?
and old things to get back.
To get back. What do you mean?
I still need to get some of those glass shards when my wings broke. And then I need to
Describe
put
them
them
to
into a
me.
box.
I'll be right back while he's AFK. 1 second.
Oh.
you guys literally go AFK after each other. That is. God damn it. So yeah, Irene will use this time that she has to like write up a quick note and send out a messenger to Seneschal, basically saying, "I may have someone for you soon. Please expect my arrival. Kind regards." Blah blah blah.
Sorry about that.
Yep. As she says, it's like it was like stained glass, what's and reds and blues that all melted together. And it drifted like petals in the breeze. Kind of like that.
Glass drifted.
What she says is clearly nonsensical.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to get them all and put them in a box.
Hmm.
Because it's still mine. Still my wings.
I think I know someone who'd help you.
Hmm. She frowns and looks at you. What are they called? Who can
What'd
help
she
me?
say?
Who are they called? Who can help me?
Will you try to kill them?
They vampire?
Yes.
Probably.
Then I cannot tell you.
Then they can't help me.
I hope you find someone who can.
Me too. But I think I've already met one. She smiles at you.
I have not the power to protect you.
You can help me.
Perhaps. If you're safe, I would very much like to help you.
She will lean back on the stool, studying your exquisite braiding process, twisting on it, kind of collapsing into your chest so she can give you a hug.
Johanna pats the back of her head very gently. Very, very gently, because ow. Hold still, I'm almost done.
She kind of grumbles and gets back in position. Looks very fidgety. She's kind of hard to do hair for. She seems very unused to it. She doesn't seem used to standing, like sitting still for any prolonged period of time.
I want you to apologize.
To who? I'm
The
sorry.
girl from the carriage last night.
Why?
She means you no harm. She wants to help you. You two have a great deal in common.
I want to apologize to her.
Very
She
well.
says that with surprising conviction.
I hope you survive to understand that that is a mistake. You will need friends.
Why? Who is he sending me to? Why do you keep defending them? Why do you keep doing that?
Because there are many ways to be powerful. You can choose to be ignorant,
I'm
or
not
you can
looking for
study.
power.
You will need it.
I thought you knew that. She looks very upset.
You have told me what you want, and I tell you, you will need power for that.
You already have that.
Did you say Johanna already has that?
No, we already have that.
We. We who?
We, me and my friends.
How much power do you think you have?
I
3
don't know
dead
how much would
vampires.
you believe.
I think I will believe whatever you tell me.
Everybody already knows they're vampires.
Did they know about you?
Yeah.
Are they using you then?
No, he said he thought I was a good person, so as long as I help them, they'll kill me last. But they won't have to go to the chapel. I already told them that. That made them quite happy. I think some were actually a little bit sad. It was very kind of them to feel sad for me like that. They shouldn't. They're too nice. They could have been sad for the old me. I'm certainly sad for the old me.
I think I may be as well.
It's only a matter of time now. All that matters is finding out where they live. And then. Ah! She claps her hands, but I won't do it because it's late where I am.
She what? She cuts her hands?
Claps her hands.
Oh.
Very loudly. Irene would hear it. And then they'll be
Irene would
gone. And
hear
then.
what?
And then it will be the next city, and the next city, and the next city, and slowly they'll all be gone. And there'll be enough of us. Because we will. Soon everyone will know. Then you can't undo that. They can undo a few people, but they can't undo everyone. That's why they already hide.
How did you find these people?
They found me.
How?
I don't know, you'd have to ask them.
I see. They found you, they did not create you.
No, monsters created me.
There are monsters among your friends. Are you certain you know all of them?
I can't know all of them. There are thousands of them.
Of your friends?
Yes.
Then how do you know?
Because they're immune to them. And
Immune?
others were reborn, others were just disaffected, abused, neglected, and then because of that, they stopped taking orders. And they rose up. That's just some of them. Most of them are just people, humans. But I can't really. It's hard for me to relate. I was never really a human.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's okay. You're here, helping me.
I am trying. Hmm.
She
I
nods.
wish you were wiser. I like to learn.
It's okay. You don't need to wish for my wisdom.
What should I wish for you?
Mm,
Only the sun at the end.
no, no, no wings. Just wish for my wings. Only a wish can bring those back.
Hmm.
She begins to wobble on a chair, deliberately. A stool, rather.
Johanna's going to finish up. Finish with her hair. And presumably has had a dress brought for her. Not the dress that's being made for her, but something that will fit.
Is it
Probably
an
the
ass
robe of a
dress?
novice.
Is it an ass dress?
Well, it depends. I mean, she'll offer her a selection. How much, how much of a size are they?
Probably fine.
So she will offer her, yeah, a selection. She'll let her pick whether she wants the simple robes of a novice or whether she wants something fancy in Portuguese.
Oh, she'll take the fancy one. She's so excited. She actually can't wait to get it on.
Okay. In that case, Johanna will indulge herself. Um, and and dress her up and do her hair and add ribbons and make her pretty.
She looks in the mirror and just kind of twirls and squeals in excitement a little bit. She's so excited. There's actually like the she's actually kind of like the way you notice like she's kind of breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Like these sort of she's always looked fairly healthy. She hasn't looked pale like a vampire. But like she's like visibly breathing and like in excitement, kind of gasps, squeals. Which is
Johanna
actually she
steps
is.
back to give her a chance to revel and kind of glances towards the door, opens it a crack to see if Irene is near.
You only see her eyeball. Hello, I'm just a creeping.
I mean, like I said, if she had heard the clapping, she would have like get a little worried and would have
Sure.
listened at the door.
Absolutely.
So she'd be there, like probably have like taken a few steps back.
Johanna doesn't chase her off or anything. She gives her just a tiny smile, and she doesn't call her into the room because shit's gonna go sideways when she does. And she would prefer that this girl be well dressed for that.
So sorry, Irene enters the room.
Well, I think they
No.
both wait until the girl's all dressed and ready.
She's kind of like twirling and like always dancing a little bit and kind of like gets a better look at herself and she's so excited and happy. She's kind of in a bit of a reverie.
Mm-hmm.
Her movements are actually very when she kind of when she's in her revelry, um, you notice that her movements seem actually extremely refined for someone who looked so common and practical.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, oh, disappointing. My point is she has performance 5.
Holy crap.
Which that dice roll does not accommodate that at all and leaves me very salty.
Sorry, I feel that pain. I feel that pain,
You
sir.
notice her performance is like she is clearly extremely well versed. Like,
As a dancer,
yeah, she looks so incredibly elegant. And
you remind me
now that
so
you
much
have
of
her up,
someone I love.
what was their name?
Cannot tell you.
She says this as she's kind of in her revelry and kind of says it like as she's sort of laughing. And you do notice like she is literally crying.
Johanna's going to go to the door and call for a retainer and have a musician brought.
Oh, my fault. Oh, that's good. Roll entrancement, please. That's 6 successes.
Oh no!
Oh.
That's what she gets. Here we go, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you could have expected that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She got fire. Self-control. Roll it.
God. And we're in Dice Roller 1. This like can't go well.
She has a success.
Close. Yeah.
You can decide whether the girl notices that Johanna watches her with, legit fondness. That's 5 successes, even if she's not in trance. She can't take her eyes off her.
Yeah, 6 because she has a specialty.
Oh, yep, 6 successes. Johanna is legitimately enraptured, but not all the way. She manages to keep her wits about her. So, once the musician comes and plays and the girl dances, eventually, Johanna will say, I think it's time that we meet someone. You look beautiful. You look rather like an angel.
I remember what that was like. And she'll kind of skip up to Johanna again and kind of like lift her up and give her a hug. Because he's so happy and so thankful. And says as such.
And it's truly my pleasure.
Wow, that sounded fucking grim from this side of the mic.
I mean, it's a little grim. Johanna is well aware that this girl is going to hate her.
I'm so happy, I'm so thankful. It was my pleasure.
There's definitely a sorrow about this entire thing. Johanna is she knows these feels.
And then as she's hugging Johanna, she'll probably spot Irene and snaps back and actually kind of screams a little bit in terror because it causes her to jump. She didn't realize she was so close.
Johanna flinches slightly and releases her from the hug, pulls her hands away before anybody can do any jumping around near her poor hands. Come, let us go and sit in the study.
She'll grab a hold of your hand with
Hand?
both of hers.
Did she grab her hand?
Yes.
Oh, God.
So good. What happens when she grabs your hand? Because I know it's like a minor behavioral like derangement. That was a derangement.
Well, as long as she's not bleeding, it's okay. Like, as long as she's not actively bleeding, getting blood on Johanna, I don't think she needs to roll for frenzy, but it's excruciating.
I would say you're definitely a +1 diff to self-control because this is like such. This is so. Not even uncomfortable. It's like borderline traumatizing in a way. Like it's that sort of just like.
And it's her hand. Johanna will
Yeah.
actually like cry out like, yeah. Do I need to roll? I will if I need to.
Roll subterfuge to not cry out because that will only cause her to tighten her grip.
Oh, God. I mean, Johanna doesn't know that will cause her to tighten her grip, but...
This is true.
Like, I think that she would cry out to warn her. Like, as a, don't grab my hand!
Too late.
So, she actually gives a cry of pain and with her other hand kind of reaches to pull her back from Irene.
I mean,
My hand.
Incredibly worried at that point.
Oh no, what's wrong?
Amelie, you're crushing me.
She looks kind of heartbroken when you say that so bluntly.
She's trying to pull her hand away, which is fun, I'm sure.
She looks very sorrowful, like she like her eyes kind of head straight to the floor, and she looks very teary-eyed and broken up and sorry. And
Does she let go?
and says as such. And she like begins begging for your forgiveness.
I forgive you. I forgive you. It was a mistake.
Well, she begins like saying, "No, it was my mistake," and only causes her to like kind of burst into tears.
Johanna's going to kneel down beside her and kiss her on the forehead and gently take the edge of her robe and wipe her tears and say, "You carry yourself like a queen. You dance like a queen. Not cry like a child."
She tries. I'll roll for it. 40 successes. She has a specialty, but it doesn't really apply here. Actually, no, she wants to appear noble, so yes, it would apply here. Because her specialty is nobility.
Interesting. Johanna's going to pull herself to her feet and go to the door again and call for more gloves. She's getting antsy between having her hand crushed and having her hands near the blood in the girl's face. She's needs more gloves. Irene sent for the seneschal. Johanna doesn't know that Irene sent for the seneschal.
I mean, she sent a message to expect them soon.
Oh, I see. Okay.
She did not. She. You're not asking the seneschal to come to you.
Thank God.
Hell no.
I'm gonna. Yeah. Did you mention Johanna was with them?
She just said that that they would arrive soon. Wait. I did have. I said something. Oh God, I didn't put it down.
I mentioned Johanna is with you as well. I'm assuming you have, but
yes.
Okay. No, this is important because something's about to happen.
Oh God.
Sorry, I'm AFK for one more second. I accidentally stole my coworker's debit card, so I'll be right back.
What? Oh no. In the meantime, Irene is standing there in the, not in the room, in the doorway, basically. She's looking at this girl, kind of curious, although she's trying to hide it behind, that La Sombra stare. But she definitely looks sad. Yeah, she'll stay at a distance because obviously she only scares the girl, which makes her even more sad.
Okay, sorry. What'd I miss?
Nothing. I was just filling in time with like stupid ramble. Like
Fair enough.
Irene's standing in the doorway, like outside the door, and not in the room, but she's looking at this girl next to Johanna, and she looks a bit sad.
Amelie looks equal parts terrified, but looks like she's trying to put on a brave face when looking at you. Like stands up straight, looks noble, almost like she's like, I sentence you to death. Sort of
Oh no!
completely thing. Like
Oh no!
she kind of looks at you, glares at you, then like crosses her arms together and looks away from you.
You see?
That being said, you've both of you roll perception awareness real quick.
Okay.
Perception awareness, even okay.
Both of you difficulty 6. No, for you, Irene, it's difficulty 7. For
Okay.
Johanna, it's difficulty 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Johanna, you've just been summoned with 9 successes on the roll, so...
Oh my god!
Wow.
This bitch! Oh, I hope we're not going across the river. Are we going across the river?
Irene is completely unaware that she has been summoned with 5 successes on the roll.
9
Okay.
successes. Has she been summoned? Does it seem like someone comes from across the river?
Let me get up the map.
I don't think so.
You're being summoned to the Noble's Quarter, so yes.
Oh, yes.
Jesus Christ.
However, the amount of successes on the roll indicate that you feel an absolutely maddening compulsion to reach this person and will do literally anything to get to them.
Yeah, it sure fucking does. Does it mean that she would just run, or would she have the presence of mind to, like, fetch her carriage?
Whatever's faster.
Probably the carriage.
Definitely be faster, yeah.
So
you do not neglect your own well-being in doing so, so you may use whatever is the optimal option. But yeah, you try to basically muster up the fastest method.
Well, if she has the present, she knows that she's been summoned. So, and she knows who summoned her before. But she doesn't know who it is this time. So if she has the presence of mind, she will, honestly just leave. Oh, this is so bad, yeah. She'll try and leave the girl there. It's probably not going to work because the girl is, love. But Johanna goes straight to the door and calls for her carriage. And if she has the presence of mind, she calls for her river box, too.
The thing is, Irene doesn't know that Johanna is being summoned to the same person. And, like, her summon would definitely involve, like, going walking because she doesn't have a carriage. So...
Well, that's probably better because Irene and Johanna, Johanna would rather not, would honestly not bring Irene with her at this point because there is a river. So if Irene just takes off and is like, ciao, Johanna would be like, bye.
I mean, I think she'll do a quick curtsy and is like, I really have to go.
Bye. And yeah. Amelie is like, Well, off you go then.
So Irene disappears and
yeah. I mean, she'll never be there before you guys, so I can just leave the scene at this point.
I mean, it's going to take us a minute. Whether or not Amelie comes, Johanna has a river to get across.
Not to mention you're going to be running the whole way.
I don't have 9 successes. I had 5, but still, yeah.
Both photos are the same thing. The only thing the extra 4 successes do is prolong the summoning. once you hit the 5 cap, it doesn't really impact you any further.
Well, still.
So yeah, you're running away. Johanna sees Irene running in the same direction she wants to go in. Yeah, don't you dare.
Don't sue his hair!
Don't you dare.
Don't sue!
Don't fall
So,
there.
yeah, Johanna is going to look at the girl and just kind of laugh softly and say, I cannot protect you, and then rush from the room.
Oh no, where are you going? She kind of chases after you. Like you by the waist, as if you were going to abandon her.
You should stay.
She hangs on to you. She can't let you go.
If you do not let go of me, I shall have to make you. Please. Johanna is fighting her as she says it because she is, 9 successes going to get to her carriage. And, probably dragging her. This is going to be a bit of a scene in the courtyard.
Oh yeah, it is. She'll just hop on with you. She'll kind of stop being dragged after a couple seconds. She'll not be dragged with you, and will simply offer to come with you.
Yeah, Johanna is going to, fortunately she has her gloves now. I'm assuming. And did they put the box in the carriage?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's
Then
fine. Yeah, no. She's just there with you in the carriage.
Johanna's going to climb in her box.
She looks very confused. She wants to climb in the box with you.
I will hurt you. If you are in here, I will hurt you, and I will not be able to stop myself.
I don't mind, it's okay. I don't mind it if you hurt me.
I mind. Your hair is beautiful. Sit next to the box. Sit on the box, and do not let me out until I am across the river.
Oh, okay. Wait,
Even if I scream.
that doesn't make any sense.
Some lessons are very painful.
Something kind of clicks in her head as she just shuts the box, hugs it, and begins to cry.
From within the box, Johanna goes, "You dance like a queen."
You dance like a queen.
That is exactly it. Okay, so I am going across the river. Let's see if this is the time the dice are like, no, fuck you.
Oh yeah, no, it's not difficulty 5 here, it's difficulty 6. And for this, it's difficulty 7. Yeah, baby, let's go.
Hang on, what is the difficulty? I thought it was 7, but now I'm not. I thought it was 7 for me. For running water. Oh, it doesn't say in the mechanics.
Courage test. I'll say standard diff +1 because of your initiate flaw.
Okay. Johanna's fucking fine. She's pissed in the box.
Okay, you take a bashing. Ouchies.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she is back down to wounded. but they get over the river with no frenzy. If Irene sees the carriage going past, she can just jump on the back. They're not going to stop her. Either way, they get there about the same time as Irene because that's a thing. So where are we going?
Irene, a lovely lady is speaking to you, and you should be polite. Be polite and reply.
I was busy. God damn it! I was not at my computer.
I was speaking to you, Christopher.
Oh, you are heading to Noble Quarter. I assumed you literally caught up with a running Irene across the bridge and said, "Hey, where are we going?" Like from outside, from like your fucking box.
No, that is not what happened. I'm asking you where the carriage and Irene are going.
Well, I mean, you'd have to direct the carriage, but I mean, you know what you've been summoned to, so I think
Yes. Where am I directing the carriage to?
you have
In
a
Noble's
vague
Quarter.
idea. Like it kind of comes to you in pieces as you kind of go along.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, like the next 100 meters, next 100 meters, next 100 meters, but each summoning is pretty unique, to be honest. You're heading to the Noble's Quarter, just about a street away from where Irene's own haven is. There is a set of nobles. There's like noble housing, like courtyards for all of them, and a nice back garden. Some are walled, some are fenced, some aren't at all. There's a gated community. You arrive at one, which is walled off. Actually, yeah, it is walled off. The gates open for you as soon as the guards see you coming. You barely stop in time for the gates to open. Irene, you're kind of hurrying along, like carrying your dress with your two hands. You look a little bit silly.
Yeah.
You're very much, I'm late for a very important date right now.
It's really annoying.
Kind of trailing this carriage.
Yeah, well.
And
what it is?
You enter this noble house, large, like not quite a mansion, but has many bedrooms, 5 bedrooms. So, because it
Many
is the
five.
best. Pardon?
Sorry, no, go on.
So many bedrooms. Because it is still like a nobles community, so there's only so much space. It's fairly large. Has several a couple of private rooms and a big old ballroom and a foyer, and you're guided up to one of the main restrooms, like one of the private rooms. And again, everyone's expecting you to be here. Like the guards, like don't even bat an eyelid. Like they're like, "Oh, you've arrived. Good, excellent. Please allow me to show you this way to your host." And you know exactly where they're taking you. Like, you feel pulled in this direction. You know they're right. And you're taken up to the first floor. Like the first floor is it's like your big foyer area, and then through the ground floor doors at the center, like all the way in the opposite end of the room is the ballroom. But you go up these like 2 stairs that circle up. They don't circle up, it's like they arc upwards because you're not going up that far. It's a restroom. There's a private room. There's 2 bookshelves on either side. There's these lovely portraits of sovereigns you've never even seen or heard of. Mighty figures, some of which look regal, others are paupers. There's a whole set of these lovely chairs, like these incredible, almost like Baroque chairs. And resting in one of them, rather rather relaxed. Do you leave Armely outside? The guards would allow for it if you want to, but you don't have to.
No, Johanna won't leave her.
You won't leave her side, so like you won't leave her at the door, like the door to the room.
Sorry, will the guards allow Amelie in or no?
No, they let her in. It's like, do you leave her like by the door to which you are being summoned?
No.
Okay.
No, Johanna has dressed her nicely for the occasion, and in the carriage would have cleaned them both off as much as possible to make them both presentable after her little fight with her own soul and Amelie's sorrow.
No, don't leave me alone. No, no.
And then would allow her to accompany her.
Yeah, you're do you feel the pull of someone behind this door? It's Baroque chairs, pictures of strange and sovereigns that you've never heard of or seen, both rich and poor, all drawn in like as mighty or impressive or subtle. They always like encompass some sort of virtue in some way. They don't look demeaning or cruel. They look significant. Toward the other end of the room, there's like a table, but it's also a bookshelf. Like there's the books underneath, and then it's the table. Like at the end of the room, there's candle holders just holding 3 candles, like with next to the center portrait, and then a candle holder on the left and a candle holder on the right, and a chandelier. And you see an impeccably well dressed seneschal. Looks the part for the most noble of creatures.
Johanna is, for her part, fairly vibrating with irritation. She is extremely displeased, but she goes to him as she has been summoned and drops into a deep curtsy and stays there.
Yep.
However, will he cope?
I mean, Irene didn't make her awareness check. Does that mean she still doesn't realize she's being summoned, or like on hindsight is like, huh?
Stand for you and bow.
Never mind.
That's right, bitch.
I was asking you a question. You didn't even answer. God damn it.
That's right. You don't get one.
Fuck you.
What was your question?
If Irene on hindsight realizes that she's summoned or not.
No, you're completely unaware.
Yeah, in that case, she'll simply, basically do the same as Johanna. Is there curtsying and also does not get up. And doesn't expect to get up, actually, because when did the Seneschal ever, acknowledge their presence in any way, shape, or form? She's a bloody fledgling.
The seneschal bows for you both, and the guest, Emily.
Johanna rises again and acknowledges the bow with a courtly sort of tip of her head.
Irene stays on the ground.
My apologies for the bluntness, but unfortunately, these nights are very busy and demand much of my attention. I see you have brought a guest with you. He'll, and Amelie looks quite uneasy. But he walks up to her and bows, says, "My lady," and treats her like a queen. And she kind of, with her crossed arms and very like uneasy look, will just very slowly and awkwardly put her hand out, like in the most awkward fashion possible, as if like everything about this situation is wrong.
Johanna watches with her hands very much hidden in the folds of her robes.
Seneschal acts as if nothing is wrong and just kind of politely kisses her hand and then allows it to go. He's the only thing that might stand out is that he is aware, like he's obviously aware she's uneasy and is kind of careful in that regard. Like he treats her very carefully. His free hand is lowered to his waist. His posture is very formal, but the way he moves, it's almost like he's on a bit of a hair trigger. Like he's kind of acting like a drawn blade in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I would simply say to you all, would you all like a seat, and would you like anything to drink?
No, thank you. But Johanna will take a seat, if one is indicated. She sits on it like a throne and watches all of this.
First of all, I'd like to thank you both, he says towards Irene and Johanna, for your services in this manner. I most appreciate it. Lady Amelie, if I may be so bold, I am aware you will have many questions, and they will all be answered in time. Do any of you ask for anything to drink? Because you can get it. Hello.
Hmm?
Do any of you ask for anything to drink?
Irene, Johanna already said no.
I mean, Irene is not assuming that this is in any way, like, said to her. She's a fledgling. Last time she was even allowed to sit, she sat on the floor. Like, she is just looking at the ground, still in that curtsy. I mean, if there is like eventually an awkward silence, Irene will look up slightly and will finally answer, like, "No, my lord seneschal, I am well fed."
Good to hear.
And she'll lower her gaze again.
Before I begin, are there any questions two of you have? Because once we begin here, we'll be going down a rabbit hole, so to speak, that goes quite deep.
I'm afraid I at least have no idea what you mean. If there are preparations I ought to make beforehand.
None will be necessary.
Irene will slowly look up and glances over to the girl and then back to the seneschal.
Lady Emily kind of speaks up like, who are you and what do you want? Why did you bring me here? She says to Johanna, and well, just Johanna, because she likes Johanna. Seneschal remains calm and just says, I am Mahomet Antun. I am an elder of Clan Sombra. I'm not sure if you are aware of the name. I am the Seneschal of this city, which, again, if you're not aware, means second only to its leader, the prince. You do not need to worry, you are not in any danger. You were brought here because of some concerns I had. And the court itself has possessed for a degree of time. Not regarding your behavior, but the source. We are aware that the source of your condition is not entirely clear. She says, no, it's not, but what does that matter? She says, why shouldn't I just rise up and kill you right now?
She says that?
Yeah. She stands up, very angrily, very viciously.
And Hana will put out a hand to touch her arm gently with 2 fingers.
Your kind took everything from me, and now you want me to sit down and have a chat because you have some vague, poorly defined concerns.
Is she talking to Johanna or to him?
Yeah, she kind of strangely ignores you. Again, this sort of almost blip in the entrancement. Where she's just so rolled up by her own emotions and intentions that yours are somewhat dampened. Seneschal again isn't really concerned. He doesn't look it anyway. First of all, if I were to have my way, you would not be here, so you can rest assured that I had no desire to take anything from you. Second of all, however, if you so wish, you may try. However, you are an intelligent enough woman to know that you're vastly outmatched and outnumbered. Even if you were to destroy one of us, the other two would destroy you. If you wish to accomplish your goals, it is not like this. I am here to answer questions that I know you want answers to, and that I also think will be enlightening for the two that you have befriended. She looks at Johanna, kind of scowls at Irene. It kind of looks wistfully to Johanna. And like grabs her 2 fingers that she placed on Amelie's hand and will sit begrudgingly.
Johan's going to roll to not cry out this time. People are grabbing her hands and they are now wounded. Let's not watch this, kids.
She's only grabbing your 2 fingers that you laid out for her, not your whole hand.
Okay, if I don't need to roll, I won't. I don't want to watch it.
She's not grabbing your hand, she's only grabbing your 2 fingers because you placed 2 fingers on her. So you're good. Are you two aware of Amelie's history?
I'm afraid not. She glances at Irene. Saskia?
Yes.
He asked if we were aware of Amelie's history.
Irene will stay silent and look at the floor.
Instead of answering the seneschal? Okay.
I mean, she still does not.
Question. So rude as to not give him an answer. Wow.
She still doesn't really believe he's talking to her.
Yeah, he's
Like,
saying, "Are you two aware?" So he's obviously talking to Johanna and Irene.
that's fair. But Johanna already answered. Anyway,
And then look at her.
Irene will look up
He's
from her
staring at you.
curtsy.
He's waiting for an answer.
No, my lord.
Then, for the sake of the good lady's privacy, perhaps we shall simply state that her origin is very foreign and unusual, abnormal to our own. No lesser by any stretch of the imagination.
He has a very vivid imagination.
But the results of her embrace were not the traditional results. And as a result, there was an anomaly. And I fear, young Lady Amelie, that in the process of your embrace, you have been manipulated into many things and many tragedies by no fault of your own. Can you tell me who embraced you? And she replies, even if I did know, I wouldn't tell you anyway. And like, her eyes kind of like look away from him and up to the ceiling. She kind of looks away from him. He seems a little bit amused. He actually seems like he kind of emits like a sort of a chuckle, like it was funny to him.
What am I rolling? Hmm? Is that his minute sub?
Mm-hmm.
Is that versus my question?
Yeah.
That was back when he said you're in no danger. And I was
Oh.
asking because she seems to have a reaction when people lie. But hang on, I still want to know.
Yeah, there is no reaction from her. You have an idea. Because the seneschal is bawling. He kind of, yeah, it's hard to put it two and two together because he's just very. His mask is basically him. You know, it's almost impossible to separate the sort of mask he puts on for people, the as he puts on, from his actual self. He's very good at interweaving them. So it's hard to say when he's being genuine and when he's not. But he simply chuckles at like a rather childish and belligerent remark. Well, I think that tells me all I need to know. And the reason I ask is because I believe the individual that did stole that memory from yourself. And we like to keep track of one's lineage within our society. Now, I know you do not consider yourself a part of our society. But your actions have consequences within our own.
He means, child, that court may help you to receive some sort of recompense for what's been done to you. And perhaps some healing.
This court recognizes that you have done no wrong of your own volition. And make no mistake, we have been aware of you for quite some time, a decade in fact. We are aware of your activities. We understand them, though we may not support them. As I'm sure you are already very much aware. In fact, in many ways, the court is thankful the ones you destroyed were wasteful and callous. Creatures of evil. I don't believe you've heard the word wassail before. I find it personally impressive that you destroyed such a creature. She's really confused, untrusting, and upset. She's a little bit in denial. Johanna?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of something like is clicking at the back of her head, like she always knew this, but doesn't really believe it. Or doesn't want to.
Is she still holding Johanna's fingers?
No, she begins to hold her head.
Johanna's going to reach over and very gently stroke her hair.
You do so, and as you do so, you notice she's beginning to become erratic. She denies the seneschal's claims.
She glances at the seneschal to see whether he notices that.
Oh yeah, there's a specialty to this. Yeah, he does, not on the level that you do. But 3 successes is enough to know that her mannerisms are becoming erratic and potentially violent. And she says, and I apologize for my voice being quite quiet, as she'd be quite loud. No, no, no. I've opposed you from the beginning. I haven't helped you. You're my enemy. You sent them there. They were largely passers-by. All of them gangrel. You live on the periphery of their domain. Most of them were exiles, in fact all of them. They were not permitted to reside within the city. They were too unstable, too violent. But that doesn't change what you are. It doesn't matter who my sire is. And you can tell she's clearly lying through her teeth through that last part.
Would you have justice?
I understand this is not easy for you to hear. And she kind of rather violently responds. You're right, I don't need to hear this. And she stands up. And is going to do a thing. As she
I mean, that is the moment Irene will get up from her curtsy.
Do you want to stop before she does the thing? Because she's clearly about to do something really reckless.
That depends on the seneschal.
Seneschal's just sitting there.
No, she's not gonna do something yet because ultimately the seneschal is right. There are 3 of them, and Irene is definitely not the strongest one amongst them. She's, however, like she's going to. Can I take like how do you call it, a like she's looking very closely if Amelie is like if she's going to attack the seneschal, Irene will want to jump in between. So readying an action.
Yeah, she throws a fireball at him.
A fireball. That was
Cool.
not what I was
Cool.
expecting. Oh, God.
Then I will jump in between.
Oh, God.
Okay,
If she doesn't start whispering things, I think. Yeah. Okay. Should we roll initiative?
Not yet, because first, Irene, you're hit by the fireball. It does, it burns and sears.
Ow.
You do not take any damage.
Huh.
Irene, Johanna, would you like to roll me would you like to roll me perception awareness, difficulty 7?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would. I would like to. Did I fail?
Difficulty's 8, but never mind. I don't see a roll.
I posted it. It's lagging. Did that go through?
No, try again.
You want to try roll for me? There we go. Oh,
Um,
good, a bot. Nope, not a bot, it's just a failure.
No, you don't see anything. First, Irene, roll me courage, difficulty 7.
Yep.
Oh, shit. I forgot I have an extra wound penalty.
Never mind. You can't botch this roll, so.
Go you.
Not scared at all.
Yeah,
You got this. Fireballs? What are those even?
It burns you, and you're on fire, but you realise you're not taking any damage.
If she looks down at her dress, like,
Your dress is not burning up.
huh.
Do we see this? Do we see the fireball?
Mm-hmm.
Do I
Like,
need
it
to roll
lands
for
on
frenzy?
her, like Irene is. The fireball lands on her, but like her dress isn't burning up. The fireball is dissipating. Like the fire isn't growing or anything. Like it's.
Can I roll awareness?
You may roll perception alertness, difficulty 6, because there is something.
One success.
Okay. You understand that there is something wrong with what is happening to you, and when you realize you're not burning, you're not even sure if you're really on fire, and the illusion breaks.
I would like to reach out and try to like pull the girl into a hug and like bury Amelie's face in Johanna's shoulder. Like that kind of a hug. Kind of protective, but also like to keep her from doing anything.
Roll of self-control, which is not particularly high.
Oh, good. That'll be fun.
So it's point G is She is like really angry and on the verge of frenzy. She's panicking.
Oh, good.
Confronting. You try to restrain her from the target, which is lying to her and wants to manipulate her, has manipulated her, and she wants to kill it, so that's exactly what she's going to do.
Okay.
Does Irene do anything in the meantime?
No.
Okay, in which case we can just go back and forth against. Actually, no, because the Seneschal's frankly having none of this. So he'll just immediately activate Majesty.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just kind of put a hand on her shoulder or against like the bottom part of her neck, but not hold her neck. Like it's kind of holding like most of her chest. It's like his thumb and his second finger touch her neck, and he just like grabs her there and just holds her in place, preventing her from really doing anything. She kind of lunges out of your, tries to lunge out of you, and you're kind of like somewhat dragged with her. The beast is strong.
Mm-hmm.
So like she kind of pulls against you. It's like the screeching of your shoes and the floor is like she kind of makes her way over this kind of once innocent girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then the provision just stops her, and the combined physical and emotional, just total, like, he just literally forces the beast to, like, forces Amelie to her knees, like, pretty swiftly and without real effort. And combined with Majesty is, I'm going to have a roll again. Yeah, that's like, she's just kind of left a little bit shell-shocked. It's like she's kind of snapped out as she's literally just shunted to the floor. And when the Seneschal lets go of her, she just kind of leans into his like shin, wraps her arms around both her arms, and starts groveling and crying and begging for forgiveness. You too feel the full weight of the Seneschal's Majesty because it covers an area.
I thought Majesty was on one person.
Oh no, it affects everyone.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Johan has dropped to a
why do
curtsy
you think
again.
people think Majesty is overpowered? Anyone who wants to act against him needs to roll courage. Like in literally any way.
Irene's not acting against the Seneschal, but she'll drop back into her curtsing position as well. Like, she's still quite confused though of what happened. Like she's like, what?
My apologies for this necessity. Are any of you hurt? He says, kind of ignoring the person groveling at him.
Johan figures he's not asking about her hands. She just shakes her head.
I offer you both my sincerest apologies for this. You should not be witness to such a travesty. Particularly in such hard times, we already have enough difficulties in our lives. I thank you for bringing her here, both of you. It will be noted by the court, however, considering the nature of the situation as it has degenerated, I would politely ask that only for the time being I shall return Lady Amelie to you tomorrow evening for you to reintroduce to, I believe, the Ravnos primogen.
Does Amelie make any response to that?
No, she's largely busy just crying and groveling and literally like weeping. Blood, just tears streams running down her face.
On a nod.
She's really unable to act against him right now because of the weight of majesty.
Mm-hmm.
My lord, if I may be as bold as to ask, would any harm come to her?
No. That's
Okay.
a pretty vague question, so we'll have him roll just in case. It's not technically a lie. He doesn't intend for any harm to come to her. It's just a case of whether she acts out again. Well, I mean, whether he's telling the truth or not, does it really matter?
Oh, Jesus. I can't even roll against that, so.
Well, why? That would be 11 successes.
Yes, he only has one.
He's just hiding intent, which is not the same. So yeah, he seems incredibly earnest. Unbelievably earnest. No harm will come to her. That has never been my intention from the start. It's been to clear up this issue and put it to rest. It has been going on for long enough.
Yes, my lord. Thank you.
The city is already in tatters. It needs not another problem. He'll look to Emily and say, "Stand up." And she stops and she's kind of freezes and looks at him and like he gestures for her to get up rather sternly. And he will say to her, and she literally stands like she's shaking. And he will gesture for her to sit in the seat next to his, and she moves before like he even says anything. She sits down. You can kind of see like the majesty in action just slowly gripping her more and more. As like she slowly begins to shake less and begins to adopt a more well-behaved pose. And like the sort of person that was about to strike him before just kind of vanishes. As the presence just kind of sinks into her.
Johanna does her best not really to watch. She kind of just keeps all this in her peripheral vision and keeps her expression bland and dignified.
Dry herself off. She does so immediately, without hesitation, and then just stops. Like, after she's done, she stops, looks at him. And she doesn't look at him. And then he says, "Look at me," and then she does. Have you calmed yourself? Yes, my lord. Apologize to Lady Johanna and Lady Irene. She kind of hesitates a little bit when he says Lady Irene, and then he says now, and then she does, and then she immediately gets up. And doesn't actually curtsy. What she does is she gets on her knees. And then, literally puts her hands to the floor, almost like in a groveling fashion, and says, "I apologize for the inconveniences I've caused you this evening."
Johanna glances at the seneschal and then Irene, and if neither of them stop her, she'll lean down to motion her gently to her feet.
Irene is actually not looking at the girl at all. She's looking at the seneschal. And then finally says, "An apology that's not given in earnesty is not an apology. My lord, I prefer that she does not apologize to me under your orders, but when she feels that she needs to." With all due respect.
But that will be her prerogative after this evening.
Yes. So I will not accept the apologies right now.
There is the remotest sense of tension on his face when you say that.
I mean, Irene is still in that courtesy. Still being respectful.
Do you accept mine?
My lord, you have nothing to apologize for.
This is not acceptable for a host. So I have much to apologize for, but your generosity is noted and appreciated. He says to Lady Amelie, "Lady Amelie, you may rise and take a seat." He gestures back to the seat, and she goes back and sits there.
Johanna's expression is so bland. Hang on. Let's see. Yeah. She has one success. It is bland.
It's
Oh,
totally
no.
bland.
Completely unreadable.
Look at these interesting floor tiles as Irene goes like even further, even lower to the ground.
Amelie takes a seat again, and anything that really is noticeable is, yeah, like kind of like Irene. Amelie is very much appreciating those floor tiles. Very much. Look
See,
towards
we
the
have
ground,
so
do
much
as
in
you're
common.
told. Follow orders. Be well behaved. Be good. Like the thoughts are almost like readable across her face. Just don't disgrace the seneschal. Do as the seneschal says. Do right by the seneschal. Follow the seneschal's orders. And yeah, you'll the doors to the exit of the room will open to your say. My gratitude once more to the both of you.
Then, with your permission, we shall leave, Lord. Leave. Getting out.
Is Johanna getting out?
Oh yes. She will curtsy a final time and unless stopped, she will graciously take her leave.
Yeah, last thing you see as the doors close is is the seneschal taking what? No. Is the seneschal taking a seat? Is Amelie just completely consumed by presence, just like just kind of rests her head on his shoulder as he deigns to mutter some words to her. That is where you are left.
Irene, can you ride?
Check my sheet. Don't think so. Oh, wow. I can ride a little, Sister Johanna.
Will the horse balk at your presence?
Yes.
Unfortunate.
It is fine. My haven is in this area. I would not wish to impose on you any further.
And Johanna's going to roll. This is unusual behavior for her, but this is normal, is what her expression says. 0 successes. She doesn't look at all like she's being shady when she says, "Very well, I shall return alone. I wish you a good night."
Tell me. Tell me.
With 3 successes, you get that she is. I mean, she has always been extremely generous and open about inviting you back and taking care of you emotionally after things have happened and this, that, and the other thing. And it's unusual for her to just be like, "Well, okay, bye." And she looks. She is trying to hide that she is fiercely troubled by something. And wary, like she's guarding something. What's that?
Irene thinks that, if this is unusual behavior for Johanna, then obviously Irene has done something wrong, but she will not, like, point. She's trying to hide her, like, shocked feeling of, oh my god, what the fuck did I do wrong?
I mean, it doesn't seem at all like it's directed towards Irene. I mean, her body language is clearly not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have 3 successes, right? It doesn't seem in any way like she's snubbing you or giving you the cold shoulder. It looks like she is worried and afraid of something, and yeah, there's nothing in that peony that would have indicated that Johanna feels anything negative towards Irene. She just, for some reason, wants to get away. So
In that case, I will change my role to an appearance subterfuge of my own. Or something else, which is also still 3 successes, so I could have just used the other role.
Yeah, she'd be watching. Oh no, I almost forgot my dice again. 10 points for me. I remember my fucking wound penalties. And 0 successes. She sees fuck all.
Good. Then, yeah, Irene will curtsy politely and says, I thank you for your hospitality last night and this night.
It is always my pleasure. I expect I will see you soon. I hope I will see you soon. If you require aid to return to Timuran, let me know.
I can get to my haven. But thank you for the offer, Sister Madeline. Wow. Sister Johanna. It's because I always say Lady Johanna.
Well, good job. You did it right this time. Yeah. I never say my own name right, so I'm not giving anybody shit about getting it wrong.
Yeah, Irene will leave on foot because she's not sleeping in Timuran. But fuck that she won't tell anyone. Because she's ashamed.
And God damn it, I've been doing so well. I've been doing so well. Johanna's going to make one more courage check to cross the river. In a box.
Don't botch.
Shh, no botching. Not a thing.
No.
She's okay.
Good.
She's going to take another level of bashing. And
Ow.
just about literally crawl back home. Out of the carriage and take herself to her rest.
Yep, and Irene will skip over a few houses and get into her own haven, which is like pretty damn close, I believe, to this place. Which is something she didn't know.
Yeah, it is.
And I think from there on we can end the scene. So thank you players for playing. Thank you ST for STing. And I'll see you again in Edessa.
Happy birthday!
Not anymore. Bye.